Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome back to another on-the-road video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com. Today, we'll be taking a look at this Whirlpool top freezer refrigerator. We will be showing you how to uninstall and change the door direction. Now, let's begin your repair. Stop. Before beginning any repair, always be sure to disconnect the power to the appliance. It is also recommended to test the outlet for the proper voltage. The tools you will need for this repair is a 5/16 nut driver, a number 2 Phillips screwdriver, a small flat blade screwdriver, and a tack puller. When changing the door direction, first we'll start with this top hinge. Make sure that the door is closed when starting to remove these screws to prevent the door from falling off. Make sure you hold one hand on the door to keep it pushed in when removing the last one. Pull off the hinge and set it aside. We will swing open on the door, lift up on the door, and set it aside. The next portion, we will start with the middle hinge. Now there are 2 screws that are located on this. One screw just has to be loosened, which from the factory, this one is already loosened up. This one has to be removed. Once again, keep the door closed. What I do recommend doing is putting your foot underneath the front of the door. Once you remove this screw, we will remove it. Slide out on the hinge, lift up, and set it aside. Start to open the door, pull up, and set your door aside. The next thing we'll want to do is transfer the 3 buttons over to the opposite side. Use a tack puller to go underneath, lift it up. Be careful not to break it. Switch it over to the opposite side. Might have to give it a little bit of a knock to push it back in. Do the same with the other 2. The next thing we'll want to do is remove your 2 buttons here that cover these screw holes. You will see there are 2 5/16 screws inside of here. The first thing you'll want to do at this point is remove this 5/16 on the opposite side. We will remove these screws and reattach them on the other side. Reattach the outside 5/16 screw, but do not tighten it all the way. Leave a little bit of a gap. Reinstall your 2 buttons. Now we will need to switch over the bottom hinge. There are 2 5/16 screws that are underneath it. Next, we'll bring over the hinge and reinstall it on the other side. Reinstall the other screw. You will need to transfer over the door pin. Bring this over, set it into place. Next, with the door flipped upside down, this is the refrigerator door portion. There is a doorstop that will have to be removed. It is held on by 1 Phillips screw, and we will transfer it over to the opposite side. On doing so, just make sure that the hole lines up. In this case, it does. Next, flip it right side up. With it flipped right side up, remove this cap, slide it out, and place it on the other side. We'll turn it around into place. And now you want to sit it on the bottom hinge. What I recommend doing is finding where the hole is at, put your finger on it, and guide it over here onto the hinge. Next, we will need to put on the center hinge. This slotted spot goes toward the outside, so slide it in. We will slide it onto the 5/16 screw that is loosened and close the door. Reattach the inner 5/16 screw. Next, with the freezer door set upside down, you will have to take off the door stop. It is held on by one Phillips screw. Now, on the opposite side, there is one spot that is kind of punctured down. You will need to reinstall the screw first in that spot to make a screw hole. And this is just to get it started. After that, we will place our doorstop on, line it up, put the screw in, and line up with the hole that you bored out, and reinstall your screw. Make sure you turn it so that the pins will line up. Flip the door back upside down. Next, we will have to remove the hinge cap, slide up, transfer it over to the other side. Now we can reinstall the freezer door. Bring in your door, have it open, and line it up with the middle hinge. Slide it into place, and remember to close it at this point. This is going to hold it up. Next, we will slide the hinge in and line it up on the casing. Start to tighten your first bolt. Make sure the others will line up. If you leave it loose, I'll give you a chance to move it if you need to. Line it up and start reinstalling a secondary one. Finally install the last one. Open and close the doors a couple of times. Make sure everything is sealing around the edges, and this will complete your repair. Thank you for watching another quality video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com.